All right, it's time. Story time with Mrs. Hill. And this time Layton's gonna video for us.
All right, so today we're going to read a little bit of Mercy Watson Goes for a Ride. This is the book that comes after Mercy Watson to the Rescue, which was so funny. I hope you were here when we read that book. Maybe we'll read that one again too. But we have a couple visitors, special visitors today. We have Little Ruffy wearing his green for St. Patrick's Day, and dun da da da, we have Neo. Neo!
Hey, baby.
Yep, there's Neo. He's listening to the story too. Okay, so let's get started. So this is Mercy Watson Goes for a Ride. It's written by Kate DiCamillo, illustrated by Chris Van Dusen. Chapter 1. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Every Saturday, Mrs. Watson makes a special lunch. Time for our little Saturday something, Mrs. Watson says. You've outdone yourself, Mrs. Watson, Mr. Watson says. Oink, says Mercy. Every Saturday after lunch, Mr. Watson goes outside. Mercy follows him. They stand in the driveway. Together, they admire Mr. Watson's convertible. Are you ready? asks Mr. Watson. Oink, says Mercy. Mr. Watson opens the passenger door. Mercy hops into the car. She sits behind the wheel. She snuffles contentedly. Chapter 2. says Mr. Watson every Saturday. You, my dear, are a porcine wonder, but even porcine wonders cannot drive cars. Mr. Watson gently pushes Mercy toward the passenger seat, but Mercy does not move. She does not want to sit in the passenger seat. Mercy Watson wants to drive. says Mr. Watson again. He pushes less gently. Scoot over, my dear. Mercy does not move. Help me! Mr. Watson calls out. Every Saturday, Mrs. Watson steps outside. Darling, Mrs. Watson says, if you let Mr. Watson drive, I will make you an extra helping of hot buttered toast. I will have it waiting for you when you get back home. Mercy narrows her eyes. She loves hot buttered toast. She also loves the extra helpings. Slowly, very slowly, she moves over to the passenger side. What a dear, says Mrs. Watson. She claps her hands. You are such a good sport, darling. Yes, says Mr. Watson. She most certainly is. He gets in the car and sits behind the wheel. He turns the key in the ignition. The Watson convertible rumbles to life. Chapter 3. Bon voyage, Mrs. Watson calls. Bon voyage, my dears. When you get home, we will all have hot buttered toast. Goodbye, Mrs. Watson, Mr. Watson shouts. He backs the car out of the driveway very quickly. He does not look behind him. That doesn't sound safe. Mr. Watson is a forward-looking man. He does not believe in looking back. Oink, says Mercy. Already, she is having a good time. And we're off, says Mr. Watson. We're off on an adventure. Uh-oh, there's grumpy old Eugenia Lincoln. Chapter 4. Eugenia Lincoln and baby Lincoln live next door to the Watsons. Every Saturday, the Lincoln sisters watch Mercy and Mr. Watson back out of the driveway. Every Saturday, Eugenia is displeased. Mr. Watson is a very bad driver, she says. He is a menace behind the wheel. Yes, sister, says baby. Furthermore, says Eugenia, it is my firm opinion that pigs should not be taken for rides in automobiles, particularly that pig. That pig is a sly pig. I do not trust her. No, sister, says baby. Baby looks down the road. The car has disappeared. Mr. Watson and Mercy are gone. Folly, says Eugenia Lincoln. She shakes her fist. It is folly, I say. Yes, sister, says baby. But secretly, baby Lincoln thinks that a little folly wouldn't be a bad thing. And we're going to stop here, but we will read starting at chapter 5 tomorrow. And I'm just going to give you a quick little sneak peek
it gets kind of interesting, and Mercy causes some trouble. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you all had a good day, and I hope you'll tune in again tomorrow. Miss you. Bye.